Oh my god, hey. Hello. Welcome.
Hello, good morning.
Welcome to day 7. Final day. Final day. Final day. Ben is seeing no shows today. Ben is getting on a train and going to London to see... What are you seeing in London tonight?
I'm seeing Secret Cinema Greece.
Ah.
I'm very excited.
I was about to be like, remember real theatres, but that's not a real theatre either. It is, however, from what I hear, a lovely theatrical experience. Aaron and I have 5 shows lined up. You have 3 currently. He may take in a 4th. But the first show of my day is a one-on-one theatrical experience, so that's something about which I'm currently slightly nervous. And Sean, you are considering shows today.
Well, I have Nerds, so that's one.
We will see you at
Yeah,
Nerds.
we will be. And I think I'll take in another one.
Yeah.
By Audrey Hepburn. So.
In any case, this is my 7th daily vlog here at the Edinburgh Festival Fringe 2025, seeing all the shows, eating food, trying to survive. I once again, because we were having a celebratory final night with our friends last night, had 4.5 hours sleep. We got up quite early to check out of the hostel, which we've now done, storing our bags there in a locker, and we're heading to go and get breakfast. We're waiting for an Uber. It's only an 18-minute walk, but I have to be back at the Traverse Theatre, which is over that way, and breakfast is over that way. For 10 a.m. for my one-on-one solo show experience. Very bad form to be late for that. Like, that's a full audience no-show. So, not ideal. Really not ideal. Although I presume they'll wait for me. I don't know.
It depends on the one after you is, I'm assuming.
I know. Like, that's avoided at all costs, but also, what's the latecomer policy when it's just you? I'm also going to definitely
They still start the show 20 minutes in.
Yeah. I'm going to definitely take caffeine pills because...
They're coming around the corner.
I can't. The Uber's coming. I can't fall asleep as the one audience member. That's horrifying. But first, breakfast. And our breakfast destination of choice, discovered a few fringes ago, is here. Loudons, as in Dorothy, the original Miss Hannigan. I mean, that's not why it's called this, but we stayed. There is a Premier Inn hub just over there, past the Brewdog, before the station. That's the thing you can see in the distance. And we found this breakfast place that does like French toast and things and gluten-free options. It's very nice. And here comes said breakfast. This is the brioche French toast. Look at her, she looks delicious. With a little bit of orange juice, which, and I've said it before, is yellow. We all need to stop living a lie. I'm gonna have some breakfast now. It is yellow juice. Thank you, Sean. Sean accepts the truth. Okay, breakfast has been had. I have left just a little ahead of the others. They're having some coffees. Trying not to get killed by traffic. And now I am walking to Traverse for my 10 a.m. show. And I've left in plenty of time, so I'm not going to be at all late. I'm going to be, if anything, slightly early, which is good. Which is good form for a one-on-one theatrical experience. I've never done anything like this before. Our friend Ben, who we were just with from New York, loves this kind of thing, and as I was booking this, because it was very nearly sold out when I found out about it and there were only a few slots left, I thought to myself, this is something Ben would do, and I thought, be brave, I got this. And yeah, I think it has to be tried, it has to be experienced, but there's so many fascinating implications. I don't think it's... I've read up a little bit about it just to be prepared and have a sense of expectation. I don't think it's stressful or intimidating. It's within the description of the event, within the listing, it says that it can be made relaxed or sensory. They can do a lot of things on demand, and I think that's built into the show as well. So, intrigued to find out more and report back. But I think it's meant to be a sort of a very involving but a minimally stressful one-on-one theatrical experience. But I'm not like a big Punch Drunk alumnus or anything like that. So this is out of the comfort zone for me. I like to sit in the dark and peer into a fishbowl very much from the outside. Approaching this lovely bit of view here. How do I cross this street? Oh, it's over there. That building that you're seeing, that striking piece of architecture, is the Assembly Hall. Haven't been there this year, but I've seen a lot of burlesque in that venue. I saw Briefs, the Australian burlesque show, as well as Swamplesque, which I think is also Australian burlesque. I've said it before, I shall say it again. Always a big presence for the Australian contingent here at the Edinburgh Festival Fringe, and I'm always curious as to why exactly that is. It's certainly not because of proximity, and not just burlesque. Here we go, here we go, here we go. Swamp burlesque, there. Not just that, but also pieces of theatre. We've seen Alone, Alter, Nucia, all Australian plays, also musicals. Lady Macbeth played Wing Defence. Little Squirt, sort of in the musical cabaret realm. Not this year, but usually the shimmering Reuben Kay is here, giving it a bit of cabaret also. And they do have fringe festivals of their own in Australia. I think Melbourne and Adelaide, and perhaps Sydney does as well. And there's something of the build it and they will come to the whole thing. My conversation has slowed because look at the hill that I am walking up. Oh, there is a route you can take through the gardens, which is a bit of a detour, but it is flatter. We were remarking this morning in the hostel, as we all awoke after too little sleep, about how the weeks like this at the Fringe are an example of us taking this thing that we love and we delight in and we get so much joy from, taking it, holding it, looking at it, and then repeatedly hitting ourselves over the head with it until it is no longer joyous. But the shows still are. That's the remarkable thing. For all of my complaining, for all of my camera obscura, world of illusions. Am I in the castle? Have I gone too far? Oh no, I am. That was a mistake. If you go that way, you're in the castle. I've gone too far, everybody. Oop, mustn't be late. But yes, for all of my complaining, for all of my exhaustion, for the too little sleep, for the too many steps, for the distinct lack of vegetables, you still end up in those shows, having those experiences, and it is still magical. It is no less magical, and that's the remarkable power of theatre, and the healing power of theatre. It's just also a lot. Now we're getting a good view of the castle area. Look at all of this. I would be concerned if I were in any of that seating knowing that there was just a gulf beneath me. But they all seem to have a nice time. Certainly many people show up. I am within striking distance of the traverse now, and I am trying to get myself into the right mindset and also stop thinking about myself. I don't want to go into this feeling self-conscious or self-aware and policing my own response. And if we thought she'd left, she hasn't. I don't know if this is Floris or just generic wind, but it is still very windy here in Edinburgh. Oh my gosh. Okay. My hair blowing the wind. No, it's not attractive. Here, once again, at the Traverse Theatre, which I'll remind you, if you haven't checked out my previous days here at the Fringe, this is my 7th and final day, and hopefully my 7th and final vlog, unless something has gone very wrong. This is an actual theatre, as opposed to the other spaces that are turned into theatrical and entertainment spaces for the purposes of the Fringe Festival, the Festival Fringe. And yeah, I'm going to go downstairs. I'm not in either of the two spaces today, because this is running back-to-back all day for 45-minute sessions in what's called the ground floor meeting room, which I guess is here because the rest of the theatre is subterranean. So I'm going to figure that out. But everything, because this is a one audience member show, everything is newly considered. I'm like, where do I wait? How do I wait? How early should I get here? Overthinking it, letting it all go, leaving it all outside. Fwa. Going inside now with empty head and just open ears. And I have emerged, and I enjoyed that. And it was not whatsoever confrontational. It was the opposite of confrontational. And it was not participatory during. It was the most sort of gentle, sensory. It's somewhere between, and I'm about to review it, so you'll hear me say all of this again possibly, somewhere between theatrical experience and like installation. The dialogue as such, the sort of monologue, quality dialogue, is pre-recorded, and it's a physical performance incorporating projections and lighting stuff and soundscapes. And the actual seating area that you don't have to sit in, but you can, is a hospital bed that you can get tucked into with pillows, and there are sensory objects that I got offered, and the first 15 minutes of the experience are a dialogue, out of character discussion with the artist, in which they discuss all of the different ways that the experience can be scaffolded, that access options can be met, and a nice chat as well about access needs but also access wants, because I have no disabilities or essential access requirements that would necessitate the implementation of the many different things that could be done, the many different ways that the performance could be modified, including captioning, including variations in lighting, including all sorts of sensory variations and levels with sound. We did like a sound level test at the beginning because you have noise cancelling headphones. All of these different options, but they were things that I could have implemented if I wanted to. And not that any of this is useful to you because it's very sold out, which we also talked about a lot, the novelty of having a sold out show 2.5 weeks before the festival. But yeah, really glad that I did that, feeling stimulated and inspired and a little emotionally overwhelmed, but not physically overwhelmed in the ways I was anticipating being. I'm now waiting to meet up with Aaron. If I don't get a WhatsApp from him in the next 5 minutes, I think it means he's already inside downstairs and with no access to Wi-Fi. So let's see. Or he's about to come around this corner any minute now. Oh my god, hey, on my 7th and final day at the 2025 Edinburgh Festival Fringe, I was the only person in the audience for my very first show. And that was deliberate, because I'm Ready to Talk Now, a piece created and performed by Australian performer Oliver Ayres here at the Traverse Theatre, is designed for one performer and one audience member at a time. This solo experience, which begins with a very open and warm 15-minute consultation outlining all of the different ways in which the performance can be adapted to sensory and access requirements and desires, is a hybrid between a traditional theatrical pre-recorded monologue of text, which you hear via noise-cancelling headphones, and a physical theatre performance in the space, incorporating use of projections, incorporating soundscapes. You also have the option to watch the whole thing from the vantage point of a very comfy hospital bed, which is both extraordinarily atmospheric as Oliver recounts the experience of being hospitalised with what would become a chronic condition only a few months after starting testosterone, as well as the most comfortable seat you're going to get for any Edinburgh Fringe show. Now, obviously, this is an unconventional theatrical experience. It is also singularly powerful and uniquely affecting, but moments after I've just experienced it, the lasting legacy of the piece, perhaps by design, is this pervasive humanity and this brilliantly well-conveyed sense of the isolation and the fear and the despair of this situation. With obviously limited capacity, tickets are wildly sold out, but if you get the opportunity to buy a return or see a future mounting of I'm Ready to Talk Now, go and check it out. Aaron texted to say he was 6 minutes away, so I filmed a 4-minute review outside, and now he's in the queue. He got past me. I don't know how he did that. This is the Traverse 2 space. We're finally on the other side. We're on the right this time, and I found Aaron James. And that was the last show at the Traverse Theatre for us at the Edinburgh Fringe for 2025. That was A Gambler's Guide to Dying. Probably the favourite of the shows that I saw in Traverse 2 this year. I did just buy 4 of the play scripts for Consumed, Lost Lear, The Beautiful Future is Coming, and She's Behind You. Trying to head hastily to Bristow for Nerds, which technically starts in less than 5 minutes because that one once again overran. I will say, Traverse this year, I don't mind the shows there being longer than an hour, but if they say an hour and 10 and they run an hour and 15 or an hour and 20, it causes problems. Anyway, rant over. We're heading to Bristow Square, Underbelly, to go see Nerds. We might miss the first 5 minutes, but I'm minded for us to not kill ourselves trying to get there, you know? It's the last day. Everyone's too tired. We'll get there when we get there. Ooh! Is that a pole dancing and lap dancing club? Wow. Good to know. Culture. Who knew? Honestly, I think take this as something of a cautionary tale. This is the one part of our Fringe experience I would advise against. because this is the one thing that makes it more stressful than it needs to be, a little more miserable than it needs to be, is madly dashing between venues, between shows, worrying that you're going to be late, that you might not get let in, that you're going to miss something. It's just not worth it, and I know it's tempting to try and cram as much into a schedule as possible, and I'm being very like, do as I say and not as I do. And I've done exactly this, and I will continue, and I will do the same thing next year. But if you have the chance, give yourself more wiggle room than is strictly necessary, because per scheduling, this ought to have worked with about 5 minutes room, and instead I think we're going to be 5 to 10 minutes late, and that's just what's going to happen today. And I'm accepting the things I do not have the power to change. I also say that as someone who is able-bodied with the long legs, who walks quite fast. Probably not as fast today after the last 6 days of this as I normally would. But obviously for a lot of people that's going to be even more challenging and or unfeasible. And eventually, only about 6 minutes late, we arrive to where we need to be. Which one is it in? That's the next question. Another show down and just 3 more to go.
3 more?
2. I have 3 more.
You've got 2.
2 more to go.
I've only got 1 more. What show are you imagining?
I don't know.
This time we were going back to Summerhall.
I'm so confused. My brain has fled from me.
You found your goodbye to Summerhall yesterday.
I know. We've just said goodbye to Sean. We are the last 2 standing of the Fringe contingent, the confringent, if you will, for 2025. Last year we did a week, and then we went down south, celebrated your birthday, and then we came back up this year.
Okay.
This is it. We have no further plans, although it does occur to me if we wanted to, with a very quiet August, we could come back up later in the month.
I just don't think we're going to need to.
No, we're probably not, but it's, you know, it's the emotional thing of like missing the Fringe, but also like being happy to be done, especially the way that we do it. Heading back to our final show at Gilded Balloon, Patahus. We are done with Traverse, we are done with Summerhall, we are done with Underbelly. We did not see anything in that tent, but other people did. Here it is, Gilded Balloon, Patahus, or Patahouse. The Scottish pronounce it hoose, that's why I call it Patahus, because for years I thought that's actually what it was called. Where are we going? Where are we going?
Big Yin.
Big Yin. Is that the one up all the stairs or down all the stairs? Up all the stairs. Here in the nice little bar area of Gilded Balloon Patahouse, where Aaron is getting his staple drink of prior years, the Riviera Orange. Side note, I was leaving the last venue behind pantomime legend Christopher Biggins, and if I had a nickel for every time that has happened to me, I would have more than 2 nickels. It's happened to me. I wasn't even surprised. I was just like, of course, again, Biggins, every time. Always leaving the venue in front of me. And several flights of stairs later, we have made it back to the Big Yin, where we also saw Midnight at the Palace and something else over the last week. What else did we see here? Midnight at the Palace? Jackie, that's the one, thank you. Previously, we've seen shows like Lizard Boy here, Pop Off Michelangelo, lots of good stuff in the Big Yin. Pint of Riviera Orange in my hand. Already feeling nostalgia for the Fringe trip that has not quite ended, but soon shall. 2 shows left to go, including Level Up. One more show. Only for me. Aaron is done. I have 1 more show. I am finishing with Ghost Light by Young Pleasance. at the Pleasance Courtyard, back to the venue where it all began 6 days ago, last weekend, when we came here with giant backpacks and a dream. Now 49 shows and cumulatively perhaps 12 hours of sleep later over the following week, we are at the end of our Fringe 2025 journey, but not before one last performance. The show is called Ghostlight. It is Young Pleasance, and I'm hoping that it restores me with joy about the magic of theatrical storytelling, which has taken a slight beating today. We shall see. We shall see. I'm entering with optimism. Do you know what I am disappointed by? I've done quite well with badges. Peep the badges, one of my side quests. And I've done less well with stickers on my notebook. And I will do this again next year. And you know, I don't want to advocate for like saying everyone should do stickers because there's an environmental thing to think of, especially with so many shows about climate change. But I've got 3 decent stickers. I would have liked a few more stickers. I assume there are other shows that did stickers and I just did not see the sticker shows. In any case, heading now to the Pleasance Courtyard. I've got like 45 minutes before the show, so I hopefully have time for some lunch. I'm also very aware that I'm 3 reviews behind, so you have no idea at this point what I thought of those last 3 shows, but you will find out shortly after I eat some food. In A Gambler's Guide to Dying at the Traverse Theatre, written and performed by Gary McNair, a man remembers his relationship with his late grandfather, whom he notes could be accurately described as a father, a mate, a cheat, an addict, a hero, and a liar. In an inspiring and perhaps even cinematic story, we find out about how his grandfather taught him about gambling, taught him about the excitement of it. It's sort of a fond perspective on this divisive concept, but the real story is in fact one about grief, as his grandfather is diagnosed with cancer and bets his life savings that he will survive. There is an ensuing media fascination. It provokes strong reactions in the immediate family, but for the boy and his grandfather, it's a shared understanding of the metaphorical importance of hope and belief and determination. This is some big-hearted storytelling that amounts to a pretty sweet eulogy. It's perhaps a little shallow. It's probably slightly longer than it ought to be, and we circle the same ideas a few times before concluding with anything really meaty, but it is also very uplifting. Go and check it out for yourselves at the Traverse Theatre. Made it back to Pleasance Courtyard. That's one more review done. It is 3:15. I think my next show is at 3:50, if I'm remembering correctly. Yes, it is. Okay, 35 minutes. I'm going to go get food next. Oh, those burgers look good. Some nice looking brioche buns up in here. Once more strolling through the Pleasance Courtyard, one of my favourite venues, one of the nicest vibes here at the Fringe, passing queues for shows that I have already seen this week, heading down to go and get some lunch. I have 15 minutes and 45 seconds left on this camera. Is that going to get me through to the end of the Fringe? Only one show left. 3 more reviews, 2 more reviews, 3 more after this. I don't think that's... I may have to delete day 1, but I've already posted day 1, so it's fine. Big question, everybody. Do I want a chicken and halloumi flatbread wrap? That looks real good. Or do I want noodles and karache, Japanese fried chicken? Oh, I don't know. Tricky, tricky, tricky. I went for the noodles. I'm waiting for my noodles and chicken combo. I will say, because I mentioned before, like, that I'd seen some challenging shows today, no 1-star reviews this week at all, this entire Fringe. Should I have said that before seeing this last show? Have I now doomed myself? I don't think it's going to be a 1-star show. I think we're going to have made it out of 2025 with no 1-star reviews, which is great. That's good. Look at these nudes. Look at this big pot of nude. It's huge, actually. It's sort of... That's my head for scale. I have 20 minutes to eat this. That should be fine. That should be fine. Throwback to... was it the first day when I had to shovel all that food into my face before Laura Benanti's show at Bristow? Yeah, finishing with this. One of the first food places that I saw, and I was like, oh, I went to eat there this week. And now, in under the wire, just getting the chance with some noodles and fried chicken. Okay, let's talk about nerds. First of all, it's wild that it's even here at the 2025 Edinburgh Festival Fringe, because this show was previously set to go to Broadway before the production was ultimately cancelled. And it's difficult now to imagine what that production might have been like, because I don't think the show has fully discerned its own identity. It's not yet fully realised, which is a shame because there are flashes of absolute genius. It depicts the rise of Steve Jobs and Bill Gates simultaneously, sort of satirising the early years of the tech industry boom. Punctuated by a handful of really brilliant songs, there is a fantastic duet between two female characters called Who Wrote This Crazy Code Called Love, in which one of them belts in binary. Bill Gates has a great I Want song. Steve Jobs has a fantastic number where he emails God at his emotional low point. Regrettably, each of these fantastic songs are followed almost immediately by ones you could cut in a heartbeat. The script has created a musical theatre-ready plot in which Bill Gates is the initial nerdy underdog and Steve Jobs is the cool one, and Bill becomes a villain without realising. But there's sections of dialogue that just don't work, and there's something about the material that isn't booting properly on startup. And it's despite of the fantastic performances. Kane Oliver Parry is inspired. Dan Buckley is giving you some of the best vocals at the Edinburgh Fringe. I think for one thing the direction could use a little bit more whimsy. I think the whole thing could benefit from a stronger framing device, perhaps even a narrator character to walk us through the many years that have passed in between subsequent scenes as they go from being these young aspiring tech geniuses to hugely successful businessmen. And by the time we devolve into an epic rap battles of history style hip-hop confrontation between Bill Gates and Steve Jobs, the whole thing makes sense. It just takes us a little too long to get there. One more cider, one more show. I have 7 minutes to go. Ah, it's not that one, that's fourth. I do not want fourth, I do not want beyond, I do not want beneath, I want Pleasance 1. The naming of these venues. I know it goes back a few years, but it could be rethought, in my opinion. Made it into Pleasance 1, which was this one, where we saw World's Greatest Lover. I really like this space, and I'm excited by the setup here on stage. I do see a costume rail, and also, you're going to laugh at me, but I'm quite enamoured with this bench seating and the half thing here. I just think that's neat. I don't know, I enjoy that. Anyway, final show at the Fringe, number 50, day 7 of 7. Here we go. P.S. everybody, I am drinking this at 4 o'clock in the afternoon because it's been a week, but also I burned my mouth on the noodles. And that, as they say, is that 50th show done at the Pleasance Courtyard. Exactly the vibe I was hoping for from that show is exactly the vibe that it was, and it was delightful and inspiring and a great celebration of theatre, which you will hear me say again momentarily when I actually get around to reviewing it, which I plan to do, as well as level up from before on my walk to go and meet with Aaron James somewhere, go get our bags from the hostel, and then get on a train heading back down south after a week in Edinburgh. I have loved it. There are few things quite so inspiring and rewarding. It is also exhausting, and I shan't lie, I'm very excited to see vegetables. I'm also very excited to sleep for more than 4.5 hours at a time, but I will miss it almost immediately afterwards. I will wake up after a great night's sleep, and then I'll be sad that I'm not seeing 9 shows that day. However, it is time. We have come to the 2025 Fringe. We have seen plenty, and I feel as though we may have conquered. I feel we have done well, everybody. My 49th and penultimate show at the 2025 Edinburgh Festival Fringe was Level Up, a musical in which 3 friends who play video games together are transported inside of a video game called Life, and it's an allegory for growing up and the things that you have to do. One of them is an activist trying to save the world, another is an entrepreneur inventing his own version of Bitcoin, while the third has the explorer pathway trying to find his place in the world, becoming a conceptual artist. The concept is not in and of itself a bad idea. I think there are greater issues, sadly, with the execution. As a video game enthusiast myself, as a theatre critic, and as a human being with ears, I struggled with this one a little bit. I'm sad to say that it was a little painful at times. And the composition of the score was not bad. The performances certainly weren't. Some of the lyrics were a little worse for wear. The book definitely had bigger problems, but the direction of the whole thing was perhaps the most lacking. It was weirdly low energy. One of my favourite parts of it was the orchestrations of the music, which had a retro nostalgic video game feel, and I think they just needed underscore to run through the entire thing so there weren't such prolonged moments of silence and quiet. I also think for a show called Level Up, there was room for them to lean way further into the video game tropes of it all, instead of giving us 3 separate songs about cryptocurrency. That was a weird choice. And it didn't really create compelling enough characters for this Jumanji-style scenario that sees them falling out of friendship and then becoming friends again. Sadly, when it came to turning this video game into a musical, the difficulty level proved a little too high. As if I nearly made it the whole of the Fringe without foolishly trying to walk down this street. If it doesn't look too bad on the pavement, it's because the worst is behind me. It's the bus stops. It's the people waiting at the bus stops, because there's not enough space on the pavement, and then the bus stops, and there's people getting on the bus and off the bus, and there's people trying to go both ways. Madness. Madness at the best of times. Not helped by the Fringe. I'm sure it must be very frustrating in the month of August to live in Edinburgh, which is why so many of them flee and then Airbnb their homes for extortionate prices. Aaron James is somewhere in this direction. And I'm heading over. I think we're going to coordinate to meet in Grassmarket, where our hostel is, to go get our bags. Passing a little bit of street entertainment here. I think it's magic, so I'm not going to stay and watch because it scares me. Oh, I was definitely going to get a sweet treat from Mimi's at the Pleasance Courtyard before I left, and then I forgot. I knew there was a reason I was going to stay in the courtyard. Oh well. I don't know what this man is doing, but he seems to have fire. Oh, it's like a juggling with flames thing. Something with... Can anyone see fire? I have also discovered the Fringe shop. We'll poke our heads in quickly and have a look at what you can get at this year's Fringe shop. This is the aesthetic of some of this year's Fringe paraphernalia. We've got a Fringe lanyard there, Dare to Discover. Some cute little things. We have a tiny little Fringe program. We have a sort of varsity style baseball cap going on there. We have some Unleash Your Fringe merchandise. There's more baseball caps. We've got all sorts of things. We've got ponchos, we've got tote bags, things that may be useful to you during your time here at Fringe. See, I like the colour of this one. I just don't know how I feel about the varsity. If I was working at Fringe as a volunteer, I would be all over this. That's quite a cute colour combination as well. That's Aaron. That's me. I'll tell you that for free. I could get him a surprise. Is that a fun surprise birthday present? That's quite... He doesn't have a Fringe t-shirt. I might do that. I'm going to get him a surprise t-shirt birthday present. There you go. I'm going to descend down to Grassmarket and then come back on myself. But this is good. This is successful. I have already got him other things before anyone judges me. Always slightly stressful trying to coordinate his birthday plans because we're inevitably at the Fringe until the day before his birthday. His 30th birthday is tomorrow. Mine is next month. By the time you're seeing this, it will already have been his birthday. So go wish Aaron James a happy birthday. I am, for the first time this week, going steeply downhill. A few years ago, the first year I came here by myself, my hostel was at the bottom of this hill and I used to walk up either this hill or a parallel one every morning to get to the half-price hut over in Newtown in the gardens on Princes Street. And, oh, this is slightly dangerous underfoot actually. It would be a shame to break something in my last hour in Edinburgh, wouldn't it? And just like that, I have seen my 50th and final show at the 2025 Edinburgh Festival Fringe, and it was Ghostlight from the Young Pleasance Theatre Company at the Pleasance Courtyard. I love a Young Pleasance show because the company of young performers are always so brilliantly talented, so inspiring. These ones in particular had such a great sense of comic timing and such dramatic skill, such vivid characterization. The concept behind this show, which is something of a love letter to the world of theatre and to the people who make theatre happen, particularly backstage, as well as the rich history of theatre, followed a young girl called Izzy who was joining the wardrobe team at Theatre Royal Drury Lane as they were getting ready to perform a review celebrating the theatre's rich history. But of course, as we know, the history of Theatre Royal Drury Lane is reflected not only in the productions which have played on its stages, but in the many ghosts which are believed to haunt the theatre. And we got to meet many of those precocious and spooky ghosts in this play. It's a little familiar of the TV show Ghosts because they have these big theatrical personalities. They are from different centuries, and Izzy initially is the only one who is able to perceive them, but through the great theatrical tradition of collaboration, she is able to solve a backstage mystery and find out more about what's going on at Theatre Royal Drury Lane. This was a really charming show. I loved that it celebrated theatre history and particularly staged the whole things from the wings and from backstage, and we had characters who were wardrobe mistresses and stage doorkeepers. How perfect for me to end my week at this world-leading arts festival with a love letter to theatre. You can see it for yourself this month at the Pleasance Courtyard. I have been Mickey Joe Theatre here at the Fringe. With the sound of bagpacks for your bags. My brain's tired, everybody. With the sound of bagpipes in the distance, the Edinburgh Castle over there, the Royal Mile, that thing that you can hear behind us. Aaron and I, who was with me, there he is, say goodbye and thank you to the 2025 Edinburgh Festival Fringe. Signing off, we will give you an epilogue from a quieter area. Okay, so the Sainsbury's in Waverley Station advertising peppermint creams and Scottish tablet as perfect for the Fringe is quite funny to me. And we are on the train at Edinburgh Waverley Station, heading back down south, laptop ready to edit days and days and days of footage, dinner of champions, sea salted crisps, 2 cookies, and so much iron brew. I'm going to now edit all of the rest of my reviews and see how many I can get through. But that is us signing off from the Edinburgh Festival Fringe 2025. Aaron, look up. Yeah, there you go. We made it, everybody. I edited 2 vlogs and like 2 days worth of reviews on that train journey. Made it back to Wolverhampton railway station, and I'm playing the game of guess where I've been. It's subtle. It's very subtle. Oh my god, hey, welcome to the Fringe epilogue. Just a little ending here to let you know that we have now relaxed. I am currently reaching you via hot tub. You were just watching our last day at the Fringe in Edinburgh. That was Friday. It is now Sunday. Yesterday was Erin's 30th birthday, which was lovely, and hilariously, after seeing 50 shows in 7 days, we celebrated Erin's birthday with prior plans, seeing the UK tour of Mary Poppins at the Birmingham Hippodrome. So truly there is never a day without some kind of theatre. We also have plans. I mentioned in one of these vlogs that Kate, one of our American friends who we were at the Fringe with, is still in London this week. The rest are, I think, today heading back to the US, which is slightly sad, but we will see them soon enough. But Kate is still here, planning to see a bunch of shows in London, so we might join Kate for some of those. All of this to say, we are not sick of theatre after the Fringe, and we never will be. But if you happen to be concerned about the breakneck pace at which we were living and theatre going and fringing over the past week, we are chilling. We have slept. We will continue to catch up on sleep. This evening's dinner plans include vegetables. I did just have donuts for breakfast, but that's because it was Erin's birthday yesterday. Don't judge me. No more donuts after this weekend. Also, thank you so much for watching the Fringe vlogs. I hope that they have been entertaining / educational / helpful and interesting. Every single year, I feel like the way that I cover the Fringe, particularly on YouTube, isn't entirely working, and this is the happiest I've ever been with the Fringe coverage I've managed to put together, because it gives you a sense of what it's like to be there, but also I've managed to bring all 50 reviews to YouTube in a meaningful way, because I didn't want to upload 50 different YouTube shorts, and I post them on Instagram and TikTok, but I'm never really sure of how to do it with YouTube, and I really liked the way I did it this year. Please let me know your thoughts on anything you'd like me to do differently next year, or if that worked for you. Really, the only problem with it all is the amount of time that it takes and the editing and how little sleep I end up getting, but that's always just going to be a reality of doing so much at the Edinburgh Fringe, and I don't have to think about it all for another 11-ish months. And I will see you then for the 2026 Edinburgh Festival Fringe, but in the meantime, there is plenty of other theatre for us to talk about and enjoy. Thank you for watching the Fringe vlogs and the 2025 Fringe coverage. And I hope, as always, that everyone is staying safe and that you have a stagey day. For 10 more seconds, I'm Mickey Joe Theatre. Oh my god, hey. Thanks for watching, have a stagey day. Subscribe!